Hey, this is Carmine, and we're right here on Revolution and Friends, Miami Music Week Special Edition.
My name is Rob Cappadonna. Welcome to the special edition of Miami Music Week. We're here with RUDEEJAY this time, and we're going to ask him a few questions.
Ciao everyone, I'm RUDEEJAY. Welcome to the Miami Music Week Special Edition.
We are so happy to have you here.
So happy to be here, actually.
Yes, and you can hear the music in the background.
Yeah, like in every place that you're going by during these days of Miami Music Week, there's music everywhere, you know?
There's craziness everywhere.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to feel this craziness back after all the years of the pandemic, you know? Also because last year it was like the first edition right after the COVID and stuff, but it was like a soft edition, let's say. This year, I feel that the vibe from the people is like right before the pre-COVID era, you know.
So talking about craziness,
yeah,
we're right in that right theme right now. We're Miami, craziness is the perfect theme. So what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you during a live set?
Whoa, so many to speak about. I'm going to tell you a very fun one. I will try to translate because this thing happened to me back in the days in Italy. Okay. And I was playing and the DJ, the crowd, well, people from the crowd, from the table next to the DJ booth, to be precise, came to me and said, "Hey DJ," I was like, "Yo, tell me, hey man, have you got a piece," which like in Italian it means like, have you got a track?
Okay,
you know, when you translate.
Yeah, a piece of track.
And of course, I was very young, so I didn't feel the fact that the piece also in Italian means like pezzo, which means how do you translate that in English? I know that it's kind of taboo, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, it's a piece with something.
That's so how do you translate that in English?
Like a poo?
No, you know, pezzo, the cock.
Oh, like a rock.
Yeah,
a rock.
Like a rock. You got a rock?
Hey DJ, you got a rock? And I was like, sure dude, what's the question about that? I'm full of rocks, because if you translate piece in Italian, it also means like strength. So it was like, hey DJ, have you got some tracks? And I was like, dude, what's the question? It's full of tracks. And so he looked at me and I said, so tell me. And it was, I was looking back and it says, so you want a piece / rock from Sinclar, Martin Solveig? And he was like, no, I meant a rock. And I was like, no, go away. So that's kind of crazy, you know, because it was very honest from my part to answer to someone who was asking, do you have a piece / a rock? And answering back, of course, your question is stupid. I'm a DJ, I'm full of rock.
And speaking of your DJs, so we know that you have sets are really like energetic, you know, you get the people dancing and going crazy. Now, for the people that follow you or people that just started following you, right, they just started listening to RUDEEJAY, if you have to describe his style of music and the way you DJ, give me 3 words that better describe that.
Well, I think that the three words is build the same: dynamic. The fact is that my DJ set since day one, I've always been based on the fact that I never give to the crowd the chance to breathe a little. Everything is like a Tabata training. I don't know how to explain it. It's continuous. It's very dynamic. I really like to play with music. You know, like if there is a very long break inside a specific track, I like to fill that break with some tools and tracks from melodies from the past that people can recognize and create some kind of relationship to it. And I always try to do that, you know, like I always wanted to give to the crowd that kind of surprise, unexpected moment that put the vibes on a higher level. So by doing that, I think that DJ set has got a way to be felt in a very dynamic way. So when you constantly play with music,
trying to surprise them.
Yeah, but also in a very like I said before, it's really dynamic. Yeah. There is no stop in the way that I play. Like every break for me is a perfect moment to put that hint, that kind of surprise moment, in order that the whole set is without any soft, slow moment, let's say.
Cool. So I have this strange question. I always love to ask this question. What are some of your biggest influences in the house music? that got you and made you do what you do?
Wow, there are so many, to be honest with you, also because I've been DJing since 20 years now. I started when I was 16, and in a week I go to turn 37. And I had so many inspiration back in the days, so many DJs that brought me. And the thing is that by listening to them and also by watching them in the way that they were able to bring the crowd into their kind of vision of the whole music industry and the club in that kind of moment. To be honest with you, there are so many that it's very difficult for me to find just one name or just like a top three. Each one of the biggest DJs that I had the chance to share the DJ book with back in the days were such an inspiration for me. I can make an example with Luca Cassani, which is like a very famous Italian DJ that in the early 2000s made some huge house music hits. I remember that I was doing the opening act for him in Bologna, which is also my hometown, and he was one of the very first DJs who gave me the kind of inspiration about doing bootlegs and mashups, because he used to play with 12 inches, with the vinyls and stuff. And he was playing a dub track, a very long instrumental, also, let's say, kind of boring track for the crowd. And so with one turntable, he was playing that instrumental track. With the other one, he was putting an a cappella on it in order to make it more appealing to the crowd. And so he was doing a live mashup, And in that kind of scenario, it was like, the lamp that is putting up in your head,
Cartoons.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So he's like playing a track that usually is not cool for the crowd, but while putting an a cappella on it, the crowd is dancing to it. That's a very clever way to get that track to be danceable to the crowd, So that's the basic effect, let's say, the fundamental thing about a mashup. Mashups usually are done to get the tracks that on the original mixes are not that appealing to the crowd and make them appealing for the people that are on the dance
floor. It's a live mashup.
Exactly. And that moment for me was like something that I still remember today, because I understood that kind of playing music for the people was a kind of a way of playing that I felt really mine. And from that moment on, I tried to put myself in the position that mashups were like my, my business card, my calling, my calling card, No, my calling, that's all. And yes, I remember for answering your question, Luca Cassani is one of my very first inspiration in that kind of proposing music to the people.
Now I wish it'd be like, every time that you have a show, right, there's a moment before you get on the decks where, there's a lot of tension, you think about what you got to do, even though you enjoy it, but there's always a moment where a few minutes before the set, you kind of like zone in, you're in your zone. Now, do you have any rituals or routines that you do before a set?
I used to have them back in the days, during the early days of my career. I don't have them anymore, to be honest with you. And I always feel that kind of moment you were describing is the best moment of the whole set, because it's a moment where there is some kind of tension and also kind of fear, let's say, but it's a positive one, It's a fear that makes you feel very ready, alive and ready for the set. Like yesterday, I was here for another gig yesterday night, and while the other DJs were playing, and I saw the reaction from the crowd, while the other DJs before me they were playing, I was like, okay, so the crowd is answering in this way on these tracks, so I'm going to play this one, and after this one, the other one, because I never have a playlist. I always decide on the moments, but I also like to watch all the other DJs that are playing before me, if I have the chance, in order to understand what I'm going to play right after.
You can adjust.
So that I can adjust, and it's all about feelings, So yeah, it's not about having some kind of ritual. It's just enjoying the moment, and while enjoying the moment, trying to understand what you're going to do as soon as you get to the DJ booth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So another question: what's the most unexpected place you ever heard one of your tracks played?
Wow, there are so many. Well, the thing is that you have to make like it's two different situation. Like it's unexpected because it's something so huge that you never thought that your music was able to get there. You know. So in that case, I just can think about Tomorrowland or Ultra, just to say in the Miami topic, because in 2018, I remember the moment when this happened. I was going at a gig, at the same time Tiësto was playing here in Ultra, a mashup that I did back in the days with my friend Dabrowitz and Luis Rodriguez, that was between Apollo from Hardwell and Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And Tiësto played this mashup in Ultra in 2018, and he wasn't married back in the days. So he played this mashup, he stopped the whole music before playing it. He invited his future wife on the stage and said, "I'm going to marry this woman," and then our mashup started. So in this kind of scenario, I can tell you and I can answer to you, for me it was totally unexpected. Not just because we're talking about Ultra, so it's one of the biggest and most famous festival ever, but also because in that kind of scenario, you know, like I've heard Tiësto proposing, he already proposed, but inviting his future wife on stage and deciding that the song for him and his future wife was a mashup made by us, that was completely mind-blowing, to be honest with you.
So imagine how many people did the video.
Yeah, no, I remember that DJ Mag worldwide made like top 10 of the most iconic moments of the history of Ultra from like 2010 until 2020, right before COVID. And in the top 3, at the 3rd position, there was that moment of Tiësto playing our mashup.
It's awesome.
Well, Rudy, we appreciate you coming out today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining. We appreciate your time.
Is there anything you want to say to your fans? What's your next place?
No, I'm going to give you some worldwide previews. I haven't announced anything on my social media yet. I'm going to release 2 very important tracks in the incoming days. The first one is on March 31. There is a collaboration together with DJ Kuban and Nathan, and we remade Darude's Sandstorm, so it's like a classic, also a meme song also, let's say, on Hexagon, which is the recording label of Don Diablo. And 2 weeks after that, on April 13, I'm going to release my very first track on Spinning Records main, because I've been working with Spinning a lot back in the days, but always with like sub-labels, remixes and stuff. This is the very first release on the main, on the main label, and it's a collaboration alongside Tujamo. So we're going to release this cover that is Get It Down by Paul Johnson on April 14, Tujamo, Cross RUDEEJAY and the Bros. So these are two big releases, and we're also released these tracks right now because we're thinking, of course, about the summer and festival season.
We're looking forward to listening to it.
Yeah, it's a brand new, let's say, worldwide exclusive for you all.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. Well,
thank you again, man. We appreciate your time. And thank you guys for watching Revolution of Friends. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.